is an extremely messy craft, and it's very difficult to contain it. I am personally not great at containing it either, although I do try to be as clean as possible, but with resin it's near impossible to contain it. So the best thing to do is to make sure that you have a work surface which is portable, so that, you know, your actual work surface, like a table, doesn't get affected, it doesn't get sticky. So it's just the inside of this little case that I have that's really affected by the resin. Another thing to look out for is your tools as well. So you're touching those while you potentially have resin on your hands from pouring it into the molds and mixing it and all that other stuff. So your tools are going to get very sticky as well. It's important to keep those clean just for your own sanity. So just a plain Clorox wipe does pretty good at getting the stick out of more solid objects like a flashlight or the little pill bottles that I use to contain the toothpicks. Your workstation isn't the only thing that's going to need to be cleaned as well. If you look at the mold, sometimes there are little bits of resin, little specks of stuff that gets left behind. So that's not good. It could affect the rest of the dice that you're going to make thereafter. So what we do is we're just going to go ahead and wash it. While washing the mold, we're just going to use normal dish soap. We're going to give it a good scrub, make sure it gets, you know, all the bubbles there. We're going to clean it just like you would any other dish. You're going to want to make sure to get into all of the little holes of the dice, and if you see any big chunks, you can go ahead and just kind of scrape them out. Be careful though, because they will kind of conglomerate on your fingers, so just make sure that you get them off of your hands so that they don't just make a further mess inside of the mold. So it's just going to take a little bit of time to make sure that everything is clear, everything is clean. Afterwards, we're just going to go ahead and pat down the mold with a paper towel just to get the majority of the water off. For more specific drying, we're going to, it's best to just let it air dry, or if you need to do it quickly, you can set it up in front of a heater or something to just prompt it to dry a little bit faster. Alcohol in general is pretty good at cleaning out resin on things, so which is why I use the alcohol prep pads to get rid of the numbers and any additional stickiness left on the dice after I've cured it and put all the numbers on. For your own hands, it is good as well. Washing them, obviously, after you get resin on them is a good idea, but soap by itself oftentimes doesn't get all of it out, so your hands are still going to be very sticky afterwards. So using like a Clorox wipe on your hands, or hand sanitizer, or some kind of like alcohol-based substance is going to help get out the rest of the stickiness that normal hand soap or dishwashing fluid doesn't. You're going to want to be conscious of everything that you touch before you wash your hands, or while there's any bit of resin on them, even if after you wash your hands. So anything like doorknobs, light switches, all of your tools, again, like flashlights or toothpicks, or even the mold itself, you're just going to want to make sure that you remember what it is that you touch so that you can clean it off, so that you then later on don't get resin on your hands, or so that, like, if you have any pets, so that they don't accidentally lick the resin or get exposed to it or anything like that, because it would not be good for them. It's just really important to be clean when you're working with resin. Again, just do like basic things like wash your tools, wash your work surface, make sure that you have a work surface that is okay to get some resin on it, because it's going to be near impossible to get it out once it gets on anything, like clothes or tables. Just make sure that you don't get resin on any of that stuff. So just be really cautious of what you do with it and what you touch.